concept of making changes, and the sentiment was you can't change everything at once, kind of like you mentioned yesterday. Is that kind of the direction you're going here with these guys, is little incremental changes that in the long run will get you where you want to be?
Yeah, I guess when you talk about change, in hockey, there's probably 100 things you could change because it's a very detailed game. So I think when some people talk about change, they want something very visible that you can see. Those types of changes are really hard this time of the year. So as Drew mentioned, if there's any change, it's subtle stuff. It's stuff that in the locker room guys understand. Nobody might talk about it, see it, understand it. After a while, you might go like, you know what? I think they're doing something different. But that's going to take some watching and some perceptiveness to pick up because it's nothing we're going to broadcast. So, yeah, we as I mentioned, the head is the most important, and we want to tighten a few areas up, and that's the change that we're talking about in there. It's just tightening areas that we've already discussed up and making them, re-emphasizing them, and prioritizing them again. So that would be internal change, but not the change that anybody else is talking about.
If you look at these first couple of days, both practices have been close to an hour. Is that
today was longer than yesterday? Was it?
Little bit longer,
yeah. But not as much skating.
Is that your approach to practice? You might want to see a little bit more. Is that maybe a beginning coming off the break?
Yeah, I think that's what you're seeing there. Yeah, no, normally we're going to be, we'll be short, we'll be intense. I think why some of these are taking longer, we're going to the board every time. We're spending time with the board. We're explaining the drills, the concepts within the drills. Once they understand the drills, we'll just go, okay, we're doing this. That'll shave off, I don't know how many minutes, but just in and of itself. But these are longer by design. We had the time off. We wanted to re-emphasize and get some intensity down low today. You saw some battling and stuff like that. That's the reason for the length.
One change today, just jersey-wise, was RV in a regular
Noticed
jersey.
that one, huh? Yeah.
I mean,
so did I.
I'm not saying he's jumping into the lineup, but
No.
it's a little bit of a change. Nice to see.
It was nice to see. I'm sure you guys talked to RV, or I don't know if they let you talk to RV.
No, we have
Not yet.
that anyway.
It was great to see. You guys have watched RV. RV's got a ton of energy. RV loves hockey. RV loves that killed him not to be out there with the guys. And to see him in a regular jersey and some of the competitive drills we did at the end, and I reminded he had 2 great chances to score and he didn't score. He's still pissed about it. I'm sure if you run into him, he's a hornet's nest because he would have had a chance to keep his team alive. It's just good to see. It's good for everybody. He brings great energy, and he's, to me, through this whole tough stretch, he's the exact player we were probably missing. He's a scorer. He doesn't take no for an answer. He just goes. He's a player that goes to the net. So we'll welcome him back, and it can't be soon enough.
You've been pretty instrumental, obviously, with the power play in your time here. How much, I guess, day to day will you continue to kind of do with that unit, with the forwards, versus maybe delegating some stuff off with the other guys that you have here?
Well, this is the beauty again of our staff. So Jans has done such a great job with the D and the penalty kill. So no need to change it. Todd did the bulk of the 5-on-5 work. I had the power play. Being with DJ and I being so familiar, DJ with his experience, I can continue to manage the power play, do some of the other things obviously that require the team at large, and he can focus a lot on the 5-on-5 play. So for us, we didn't want to change any roles that way. I want to continue to run the power play. I've done that with the guys, but that leaves me limited in some other areas. DJ will pick up some of the slack in that other area.
We've seen Jordan Spence coming out of the lineup to replace with Brant Clark to get Clarkie in some games. What's been your thought process behind that change throughout the last few?
Yeah, well, I haven't had one yet. So just in general, 2 good young defensemen for sure with long and bright futures in the league. We haven't decided exactly the way that's going to roll out, but I would say this: when we talk about our mindset and getting back to what our first 24 games were and all those kinds of things, Jordan Spence played. He played regularly. He played very well. So it's hard to overlook that when we're talking about a reset to getting back to that. So that will make the challenge harder for Clarkie, because Spenny's been part of that success, and that's the success we want to get back to.
If you look at what Alex Turcotte has brought in his first couple of games, a lot of energy in that game in Nashville. What have you seen from him as he's kind of come in and done his best to earn a spot?
Yeah, well, you know what I've seen? I saw it from him when we went to Australia, and I asked him about it. I don't know how much muscle he put on over the summer, but he's bulked up considerably. And it's not so much upper body, but I could see it in his legs. And his pants were tight, and I see that another layer of strength in him. In fact, the interesting part in the Nashville game, early in the game, he had a great D-zone coverage shift against one of their big forwards, might have been Smith, who's a big, strong, and he was on his hips. He contained him in D-zone. I remember he came off, I said, great job in D-zone. To contain that, that's what impressed me. And then turn around later on, he goes and scores the goal, which, you know, everybody's really excited for him. But to me, if you can't do what you did in D-zone earlier and be able to defend, then you probably don't get to the point where the goals matter that much because you can't play in the league yet. So that's where I've seen the growth from him, being able to hold his own in D-zone coverage.
Talk to a few of your players about DJ Smith, his introduction. They seem amused, entertained, excited about it.
Good. Levity. Somebody said levity yesterday. I was thinking, you got me right or are you talking about DJ? Who are we talking about here?
There has been conversation over the last few seasons about guys being brought in that fit the mood, fit the locker room through their personalities, whatever. Is he the type of coach that connects with a type of player that can then cascade through the lineup?
Yeah. Well, I can talk. I said a lot about Smitty yesterday, but Smitty can connect with anybody. Like he's that type of a personality. You'd have him over for dinner. You'd have your grandmother there. She'd be laughing before the dessert came out. Like he's just that kind of a person, and so it's great for anybody to be around. It's great for the coaches to be around. Never mind the players. I think maybe for you guys, the media, you're going to hear him on the plane. Trust me. And he's got a loud voice. So he's just one of those people that brings good energy that you like to be around. And I think that, you know, whether you're at the top of the league or the bottom of the league, it doesn't matter. It's the type of people you want around.
Rob mentioned that he was brought in to offer a perspective from the outside. Is there anything you can share about something that maybe he shared with you, what he saw about this team that you didn't recognize yourself?
No, nothing that I'll get into there, but I will say this. He saw us at near our best. We were out there, was it just after Halloween, right? Early November, and we went in there and played them and got ahead and just choked them right out. They were so frustrated they didn't get much. So he's seen us at our best, that first group. And then I've had him watch some of our games over our last stretch where we haven't had a chance to practice as much, hadn't lost our confidence. And he didn't see the same. He'd seen that lack of confidence, and the lack of confidence then can leak into areas of your game where you're just not as sharp. So he was able to see the difference when we played them versus kind of what we're doing lately. We won't talk about what some of those things were.